Oh, hello, faithful listener, and welcome to Quiring Minds with me, Stephen Edwards. Thank you for joining me. This week, another brilliant show for you. I am sitting down today with Fred Steps, who is a representative of the organisation Mothers Against Cosplay. He has some very strong views on comic book conventions and the people that go to them dressed up, and he sits down and tells me all about it. It's a fiery discussion because Fred makes no really valid points and gets increasingly angry as I point this out. And we're going to get to that in a minute, but first let's hear from our sponsors. This week it's a fantastic new company called Jig Sorted. Do you like jigsaws but have little time? Maybe you only like jigsaws for about 5 minutes once every few weeks. Well, if that's you, then this is your new favourite company. Jig Sorted will send you a new piece of a jigsaw every month or so. You won't know exactly when. It's kind of random. It'll just have a little package drop through your letterbox. And it's a piece of a jigsaw. And what's more, all the pieces are in order. So there's no wasting time finding out which piece goes where and the like. It is, as they say on their brief, a slow and ineffectual way of doing a jigsaw. That's the pitch? They're pitching that? Well, more power to them. So Jig Sorted. Use the code EDQuiringMinds for 2% off your first order. And now on with today's show. I have to say, given that the name of the group is Mothers Against Cosplay, I'm surprised to, open the door to a gentleman. But, come in, make yourself at home.
Well, we're an inclusive group.
We
don't discriminate. We're here for the greater good of bringing an end to this evil practice. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman who has to be the one in charge of this. I happen to be a man who happens to be in charge of this.
But the group is called Mothers Against Cosplay.
It was called Mothers Against Cosplay before I got there, and it's a good acronym. We're sticking with it.
No, I'm sorry.
Are you a sexist? No, is that your problem?
You're quite right.
Do we need to have a talk about gender equality?
I apologise.
You disgusting bigot.
Basically, you couldn't have known this, but most of my podcasts start with people attacking the name of my podcast, so I guess I'm just a little bit touchy. It's not my job to make my pain your pain, so I apologise. Let's reset.
Your apology has been noted.
Well, okay. I'm sitting here with Fred Steps is your name, and you are a spokesman for the group Mothers Against Cosplay, which is exactly what it sounds.
Yes, it is, Stephen. Let's just get right down to it, because I know this is what you want to talk about.
Crack on.
We at Mothers Against Cosplay believe that...
You're against cosplay?
No, we're in favour of cosplay. It's just a really ironic thing.
Yeah.
Yes, we're against cosplay. The act of dressing up as cartoon characters is not only sinful, it is evil, it is counterintuitive to the correct way to how to live a good, clean lifestyle, and it is a waste of time and effort, it is a waste of time and money, it is a waste of imagination, and it should be stopped, it should be made illegal, and anyone who is caught practicing should be shot dead.
Okay, for my listeners who don't understand how quite OTT that is, let's define what cosplay is. So if you've ever been to, Comic-Con or some sort of comic book gathering, you'll often see people not quite wearing costumes. This isn't a fancy dress issue. This is people who put meticulous detail into recreating screen-accurate versions of characters' attire and...
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is time that they should be studying maths.
Okay. So
they could be learning how to fish.
So you're against people...
They could be figuring out how to rewire a, let's say, refrigerator.
So instead of making sure you've really got an accurate version of Mario's jumpsuit, you should be learning how to fix a fridge, is your stance.
That and the whole dirty, sinful nature of it, yeah.
It
is a disgusting practice that encourages, I'll say it, child pornography.
Okay, well, let's maybe come back to that at a later point or not.
Yeah, okay, fine, because I can't really back that up. But when you see sumptuous young teenagers walking the floors of Comic Cons, dressed in bikinis, dressed in revealing high skirts way above the knee, tight little ankle socks made out of the freshest cotton, all set atop these pinpoint heels, it is enough to turn a good Christian man to a sinful, lustful beast.
I was waiting for the Christ to drop in because hating things. It wouldn't be hating things unless there's an appearance from old JC. Now,
well, I can't really testify to that because I'm Jewish.
Okay. Okay. Well, again, I'm not going to touch that with a barge pole. So, I'm against a lot of things. Most things, you might even say. But I don't really have an issue with people having a bit of fun, dressing up as the favourite characters. When I read the name of the group, Mothers Against Cosplay, I assumed this would be, very matriarchal people worried about what their kids are doing. And I got to say, Fred, it's not just that you're a guy. You just don't seem to fit that type. Do you have kids? Do you have
I don't have
nephews?
any kids.
You don't have any kids?
I am here, Stephen Edwards, because I am a comic book fan.
Okay, so tell me the origin story. How did this happen?
There's no origin story. I'm just a guy who likes comic books. I'm no different than anyone else. You could be me. You could be the perfect gentleman who has his advances rebuffed by at least 3 Princess Leias, 2 Princess Peaches, and a gender-bending Garçon from Beauty and the Beast that makes you question your whole sexuality.
I gotta say, I'm seeing an origin story in there, but So you went to these Comic-Cons and, you saw these people dressed up and...
They were just strutting around the floor as if what they were doing was perfectly natural.
Alarm bells in your head.
There is nothing natural about a man wearing a cape in the real world.
No?
It's bringing over the whole comic book world into the real world, and we all know that is where the worst franchises happen.
Okay, so... Devil's advocate here. Some people would say, the world is cruel, life is hard. What's wrong with a bit of escapism? People, like-minded people getting together in a hotel convention hall.
That's it. That's it, Stephen. That's it. Like-minded people getting together. People at home who can't see me, I'm doing lots of air quotes around this. Because you know who else you could describe as that, Stephen? Do you know who else? Okay. Communists.
Okay, right.
The communists.
All right.
And the Nazis. There it is, yeah. I was going to say on that for a while, but I brought it out earlier. The Nazis.
Well, okay.
Yeah. And as a Jewish person, Stephen, I am offended you bring that up.
So you're telling me
they're all hanging out. They're all dressed in their fancy galias, and they're just waiting for someone to fall, aren't they, Stephen? That's what they do. And let me ask you this. What would you call a bunch of kids standing around together, not doing anything, with weapons? You'd call them a gang. You'd call them a dangerous gang. Those foam swords, they hurt.
So I just want to stop you here. So despite the fact that you've made advances towards people in cosplay and been rebuffed and also been attacked with foam swords, that doesn't factor into this at all.
You get into one argument with a guy dressed as Frodo Baggins because you thought his name was Frodo Baggins because you're too busy to be reading these thick-ass books all day. And before you know it, he's got up on your shoulder and he's riding you around the whole conference hall a la piggyback style, and everyone's laughing at you like you're the idiot, like you're the fool.
Okay, but again, no origin story. This doesn't factor into your hatred at all.
This isn't about me. This is about how cosplaying is dangerous. People can hurt their fingers when they're sewing these costumes. They shouldn't be allowed to do this. I think a child seeing this, Stephen, a child who has done no harm to anyone, and he sees Superman in the real world, you don't think he's going to go home and try and jump off his roof?
No. I went to see Superman the movie. I didn't try
because he was on a screen. But if you see him standing in line waiting for a hot dog, and all of a sudden you accidentally stand on his cape, and no, you're the one who's getting your head dunked in the toilet.
Again, I'm seeing an origin story here. You're really trying to get away from the fact that this isn't a personal vendetta.
This is nothing to do with me. This is nothing to do about the many conferences that I've been to, the many hotel rooms I've sat in dressed as an extra from the rebooted Battlestar Galactica, hoping someone would notice the extravagant detail that I spent putting into the backstory of my character, then staring alone in that mirror as you hear all the parties from the rooms next door and you're just emptying out your mini bar, Snickers after Snickers after Snickers, and you think, well, I should try PCP.
So you're saying you think cosplay is a gateway to drugs?
Yes! Obviously it's a gateway to drugs. I didn't mean to obviously point that out.
What do you mean obviously?
You think that those people walking around there dressed as pirates aren't smoking the doobs?
I can't. It wouldn't occur to me, I must say. I mean,
they are. Let me tell you something.
I think you're skipping a few steps there. I think you got a little bit of confirmation.
You don't know enough about subculture of the comic book fan to understand this.
Let me tell you something. sir. Okay, you know him. I know. I put on the facade of a cool guy. I know you must think I'm really one of those.
Oh my!
I think you must think that I'm really one of those hip customers.
Yeah, no.
But let me tell you something.
I see where this is going. But
let me tell you something. I have not been, I'm no stranger to, role-playing games. I have dabbled in Monopoly once, twice, especially at Christmas. So I can connect with these people. It's my part of my skill as a journalist. I can get into their minds, and I really don't see the connection between dressing up as as Walt Disney's version of Alice in Wonderland and PCP. I don't really understand how you're making that jump.
So can I ask you this?
Okay, ask me.
Have you ever walked into a toilet cubicle and saw Boba Fett snorting coke off Squirrel Girl's dick?
No, and I don't believe you have.
Yes, I have, Stephen! 3 different times!
Okay.
1 would be weird. 2 would be a bit too weird. 3 different times, and you start to think there's a conspiracy here.
Do you have any?
I think these people, they meet up on their forums, on their computers, they all talk about what they're gonna wear, like the sissy Marys they are, and then they all go do drugs in public, and they make good, hard-working, religious people like me, and the fine women and Mothers Against Cosplay, bear witness to their depravities.
Okay, so let's turn to Mothers Against Cosplay. This is a group that meets semi-regularly.
But we only meet online.
Hang on, you just did a whole speech about people on forums meeting with each other? How's this different?
Well, we're not dressing up. I'm not sitting there in, fucking.
Is there a Mothers Against Cosplay uniform?
Armor? Yeah.
Right, okay, so it's people online meeting up in some sort of hall.
No. We don't gather. We sit behind our computers in the mask of anonymity.
Right.
If you want to dress up as Darth Vader in the privacy of your own home, then go at it.
Right, but
that's completely up to you. Maybe you want to slip on a dress, call yourself Peggy Carter, and maybe your mum's going to come home and see you trying on her makeup and. And maybe she's going to be a bit upset. Maybe some words are going to be said. Maybe she's going to throw you out of the house and you're going to have to sleep on your best friend Kyle's couch for 2 days. And, wait a second, Kyle doesn't have a job. So now all of a sudden you're paying for Kyle's couch. I'm paying for the couch, Kyle. I'm paying for the couch. I'm paying for the house. I bought the pizza last night, Kyle. Why am I paying for rent and board on a goddamn couch?
What are you trying to achieve with this interview, Fred? What does Mothers Against Cosplay want? You want an end to Comic Cons?
We don't want an end to Comic Cons. What am I going to do with my day? Jesus Christ.
Ernie Hudson loves those things. He needs those things. It's a valuable source of income for Ernie Hudson.
Well, he's actually had a bit of a career boost now that he's eligible to play old Black Man.
Yeah,
because middle-aged Black Man, there's just no way.
Obviously, we're all, we're all really worried about Donald Glover as he gets into his 30s.
Donald Glover's fine.
You think so?
Oh, he's a tour de force. I don't care for his rap myself.
No, you're not a Gambino guy?
I'm not a Gambino guy.
But anyway, so...
Schooly D.
So as long as Annie... I can relax a little bit better. You're not coming after Ernie Hudson then? No. Okay. So what are you trying to achieve? You don't want an end to comic book conventions? You want comic book conventions without cosplay?
I want an end to promiscuous... premarital sex. Okay. I want an end to dangerous drug taking.
Hang on, do you think premarital sex happens at Comic Cons?
They take place in hotel rooms, Stephen. Do you think that's a coincidence?
It's not like the senior prom, No one goes there expecting to get laid. Oh
my God. You, sir, are so oblivious to the real world. You're so oblivious to how these people think. You're so oblivious to the thrill they get when they see a full-scale guy in a Groot costume outside having a smoke in the car park, and they ask him if they can just climb up him, and when they're climbing up him, the pants comes a bit loose, and the sweet textile rub of the brushel of their pubic hair against those leaves and expertly appointed roots on Groot's back as a little rocket raccoon guy dressed. Maybe he's a midget, maybe he's a child, you don't know, but all you know is that he's seen this. He's seen the moon shining off the cheeks of your contours, man. And maybe he's going to carry that image around with the rest of his life too. Maybe you've destroyed that child's life. Maybe you've made that midget think about maybe he should dress in more size-appropriate costumes.
Okay, your hypothetical examples are way too detailed. But on another note, so you want comic book conventions where everyone's in plain clothes. Oh, look at me, Do you not think buying 2001 AD comics in.
Well, we do need to support the local scene more. Yeah, I agree with you. But do you not think there's a link between these people and sordid behavior? I mean, come on, Stephen. You know what they get up to.
I really don't. I think it's good, clean, fun. I think it's people who've been,
these comic books, these boy comic books.
What are you talking about?
Yakiti on Ice, the touching romantic story of an ice figure skater who falls in love with his Russian trainer. Come on, Stephen. You've got the dubs. You've got them downloaded. You've watched them. You've watched them again and again, and you've thought to yourself, why can't I find happiness like that, Stephen?
Again, that's a very detailed example. People, they just meet up in hotel rooms, and it's like, oh, I'm into this thing, you're into this thing, we're both dressed as this characters we're into, and it's good, clean, fun. I think you're getting it mixed up with fairies or something sordid like that.
Whoa, no, whoa, hold the phone.
What?
What's sordid about fairies?
Hang on, you're cool with fairies, but you're against regular cosplay.
Yeah, there's a completely different genre. It's a different kettle of fish. It's a different world.
Fred, do you have a persona?
Yeah.
Okay. I expected you to...
Well, no. It's completely different. You're going around this comic book con and you're revealing clothes dressed as a buxom plumber. I'm dressed as a dog and I'm fucking a guy in a dog suit.
Do the Mothers Against Cosplay know that you have a persona?
I hardly see it's any of their business.
So there's a
no, listen. Me and the guys, and the girls, it's not my thing, but they're there. So yeah, we dress up like animals and we have orgies. That's what we do. We're consenting adults. And it's not me, it's not Fred Steps. It's Tubador the dog man who is into this. And yeah, Tubador's into some kinky shit. And yeah, Tubador's got a lazy eye from that time he stroke and choked himself and couldn't really get the ropes undone with the thickness of his paws. But that's up to him, man. That's an adult. Well, that's a dog who has a credit card and rents a hotel room and does not wish he was dead.
First of all, you always do autoerotic fixation with a buddy. That's basic.
Well, I know that now.
That's basic. I can show you some articles. But okay, so. Let's just, this has been a bit of a roller coaster, so let's just be clear here as we close the show out. Tell me when it is and isn't okay to dress up.
Yes,
let's list them.
Fine, okay.
Okay, so, Comic-Con, bad.
No.
No?
No, can't dress up.
Oh, right, okay, right. Okay, priest in church, that's a bit of a dress up.
Priest, yes. Congregation, no.
Congregation can't dress up.
Well,
so you couldn't have like a church con? No?
I wouldn't know because I'm Jewish.
Okay,
so.
Right, yeah, okay, sorry. Okay, fairy orgy, yes.
Yes, obviously.
We're fine with that. Okay, funeral, no?
No.
You hesitated, though, you hesitated.
I thought it might bring some levity to the situation, but then I decided no.
No, okay. Okay, so what about Sesame Street? Because Big Bird's just a guy in a costume. Is that okay? No?
Sesame Street is the most sickening, perverse piece of media.
You're against Sesame Street?
Big Bird.
I'm familiar with Big Bird. I brought him up.
That's bestiality right there.
How is that bestiality?
The elephant guy, Snuffleupagus.
Yeah?
They're having sex.
Okay,
And yeah, you're going to say, oh, but Fred, that's kind of furry because they're both
like
animals. Well, they're not both animals, are they?
I've heard myself on tape and I don't sound
because
like
they
that.
have moving mouths, so ergo, they're not fairies.
So, Fred, were you attracted to Big Bird as a child?
Jesus, God, no. Snuffleupagus. That was my shit.
Okay, well, this is going to be over.
Would you like to see some drawings?
No, I would not.
I'm going to show you them anyway.
Okay, well, at this point, the theme song is going to be... The theme song's going to have to come in super early here.
Come on, look at that. Look at it!
No, I don't want it to... Oh, my God. Oh, it's not even his trunk. I thought that was his trunk.